Okay, I hate to admit that, but I would like, and then when I would yell at him, he would completely shut down. He wouldn't even talk. And I'm like, okay, so now I'm even more me because hey guys, thank you for watching another video. My name is Avielle Amor, and this is another Amorism on this Friday. And I'm here to share with you guys like a Valentine's Day related type of Amorism about relationships. Somewhat of my relationship and how I got married. As you can see from the title, I was married via email. And I just want to give some encouragement or some reality to some of you people, I don't want to say just ladies, but some of you all out there that are in long distance relationships, and you're just trying to figure out whether or not it's worth it, or if it's even worth the attempt, if it's worth to hold on, or if you know what's going on. What's my experience? I'm just going to share with you my experience with my long distance relationship. Okay. So for 9 months we were like engaged or whatever, we were separated, and for the first year of our marriage we were not even together, we're not in the same state, and we did a long distance relationship for a year and 9 months. I think it's totally possible, and the tips that I want to give to you guys that are in a long distance relationship, or you know, it might happen, you might have a spouse that has a job that requires them, or a significant other that requires them to move around a lot. This happens a lot in the military, which a lot of you guys know that my husband and I were in the military. It's possible, and the two things that makes it possible is trust and communication. You have to have that in your relationship. If you are not able to communicate effectively with one another when you are in person with one another, and you can't get your point across, how in the world are you going to be able to do it on the phone or via Skype or via text when you do not know how the other person reacts to certain things? You know, it's all about compromise. If you're not willing to if you know that your significant other is the type of person to shut down and they don't want to talk about anything that's going on, or if you know the other person, certain words like trigger them to like start yelling, you know, I'm not saying that you should walk on eggshells around that, but you should know that and you should adjust yourself accordingly. And if but you also, it's your responsibility to let them know that these are the things that they're doing, even though they are adults. They might have been raised in an environment where that was how communication, that's how it happened. That's not their environment anymore. You all, if you are in a relationship, you are creating and you are cultivating your environment that you want in that relationship. So it's your responsibility to tell that person how you would like to be talked to, and vice versa. And if you all are totally different on how you all communicate, it's I'm telling you, it's possible to come to a medium ground. My relationship with my husband, when we were dating, I was the yeller. Okay, I hate to admit that, but I would like, and then when I would yell at him, he would completely shut down. He wouldn't even talk. And I'm like, okay, so now I'm even more me because now you ain't even talking to me. So now I'm just thinking all these crazy thoughts like, oh, so he probably did this. I'm just like constantly like up here because he was shut down. Or like when he would get upset about something, I wouldn't even know he was upset because he just wouldn't talk about it, and he would just be very passive aggressive about it. So we had to come to a point that we realized that in one another, we had to communicate how we could do this. So I realized that if I'm yelling over here, he's not even hearing me. All he is waiting for me is to just shut up. He's just going to say whatever he has to say or do whatever he has to do just to get me to be quiet. But if I talk to him like a sane human, he's going to listen. And you know, I can effectively tell him like what is bothering me without like creating some type of argument that's not even necessary. And since that's happened after we've been married, I promise you, we have not gotten into like a yelling, shouting match type of argument. We get in disagreements, but it's normally like it's like over hot French fries, who gets the hottest bag, or it's the most pettiest arguments ever. But like we're just like talking about it, like we try to be like who's more, I don't know, more well versed with their words or whatever. It's good to have a good debate, you know. We like to debate one another. But yeah, I'm going off. Communication is key. You got to be able to effectively communicate with one another. And if you know that they're not even willing to compromise on how they communicate and try to work to a middle ground, I don't think that you should go any further with your relationship outside of your comfort zone of you all being close to one another. But if you all are effectively communicating now, you should be good. Now, the other thing that is important is trust. You have to trust the other person. You can't be constantly kind of like questioning them without questioning them, or telling them to put you on FaceTime to check around the room and all that stuff like that, because that's going to start weighing on you. You're going to start feeling like you're not trusted, and then who knows, you should have cheated, you know, Keisha Cole on them. So you gotta have trust. Nobody wants to feel like they have their parent overlooking them the whole time. You both are adults, and then what you need to realize, if you're the one with the trust issues, you just you can't control a person. If a person's gonna go out here and disrespect your relationship and disrespect the agreement that you two have, you're better off on your own, boo. Okay, I'll tell you in a minute. Like, you are better off on your own. Okay, don't deal with it. Well, what you decide to deal with. If it's going out of what you decide to deal with, because some people are down with that, you know. I'm not, to each his own, boo, but over here though, it's not going down like that. And if anything is like disrespected out of my comfort zone, and we know we're dealing with something already, but then we have to deal with something else, I don't have time. So if you don't trust this person before you even, before the separation happens, I don't know, boo. I don't know. Okay, so the story behind my husband and I getting married via email. Yes, that is true. We got married via email. He was in Texas and I was in Ohio. He was at one technical training for the military. I was in another school for training in the military. And we found out if we did not get married soon, that we would have to be separated like for 2 to 3 years. That's like a rule in the Air Force. So we were like, oh my gosh, who's flying to where so we can hurry up and get this done so we can get married. We were already engaged. We were already separated for almost like 9 months at that time, and we were like, oh my God, I cannot be without you any longer. You know, our hearts were beating and yearning for one another. So I was doing my Googles, and finally I found a thing called proxy marriage. I found that and I was like, let's look into this. Let's do some research, make sure this is legit. And it was legit. So we sent in our money and we had a person act on our behalf, and they married us in Minnesota. So I was in Ohio, he was in Texas, but our marriage license is in Minnesota. Yeah, weird, right? So yeah, girl, I got married via email. Tell me your thoughts on it. I mean, I am already married, girl, really. Tell me your thoughts. And I hope you all enjoyed this video. Yeah, put any requests that you would like to see too. People have been Snapchatting me some requests. I got some pretty good topics to talk about to keep these things coming. And yeah, until next time, thank you all so much for watching. Bye.